You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
It is Tuesday. It means the preseason is over, and it also means that the Miami Dolphins have basically named their 53-man roster for, at the very least, the start of the 2023 season. There's so much to get to it, and obviously, myself, and Charlie Touche have a lot to talk about. Before I introduce Charlie, just a few things out of the way, as always. If you're here, if you're in the live, smash that like button, join us in the comments. Again, there's so much to talk about. Would love to get all of your input, all your opinions, all of that. Make sure you're following on Instagram, TikTok, X, which is previously known as Twitter, but it's now called X. And we now have Patreon as well. Shout out to our patrons, Lane, Hammer, Tim, Caro, Keith Bender, and Mike McDrip. That's all the formalities out of the way. Charlie Touche, how are you?
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. And off the bat, I'm going to just come in with this. This is not going to be a farewell or a best wishes or a good luck to Myles Gaskin or Alama Uluave. Like, I genuinely believe them boys are going to end up on a team. Like, this is it's unprecedented, Kadeem, to have no backup center on the squad and to have 6 running backs for the Dolphins. We in some times right now, and we're going to get to the bottom of everything here on this podcast. But yeah, I have zero doubts that Alama Uluave is going to end up on this practice squad at a minimum. So 53-man roster was set today. Tons of cuts. It's a day in the NFL where it is not desired, right? And we're about to run through the 53-man roster real quick. We have 3 quarterbacks, Kadeem.
Oh, so very quickly. So before we do that, shout out to IMAX for one for the comments because I know we've got a lot to get through. So shout out to IMAX, says what's up, Kadeem, Charlie, and chat. Shout out to Jason Keck. Shout out to Robert Ashton, says what's up, Kadeem and Charlie, your favorite podcast. And then the next Jason Keck comment we will get to when we get to the 53-man roster. So, Charlie, apologies for interrupting. Floor is yours.
So we got 3 quarterbacks. Some will argue we only have one. I would argue we only have 1 quarterback. So we have 3 quarterbacks on this 53-man roster, 6 running backs, including Alec Ingold. 4 tight ends, 6 receivers, 11 offensive linemen. 11 offensive linemen, 5 defensive linemen, 7 linebackers, 10 cornerbacks, 4 safeties, and 3 special teamers. Now, about these 4 safeties, Elijah Campbell's out for the season. Verone McKinley was cut today, so he's probably going to end up being on the active roster as a safety. Because as of we sit here live on this podcast, we only have 3 safeties, which is friend of the podcast, Brandon Jones, friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, and not a friend of Tua Tagovailoa, Deshaun Elliott. That's the only 3 safeties we have on the active roster. Maybe I should suit up and we could just have a whole like trio of friends of the podcast. I got some pads down here. I could, you know what I'm saying, but I won't. Um, it's what stood out to you, Kadeem, today when it came to this 53-man roster. What stood out the most thus far?
Shout out to Rob and to Moya TV. What stood out to me kind of happened first thing for me in the UK when I woke up to the announcement that the Dolphins had traded Dan Feeney to the Chicago Bears for a 6th-round pick. And my initial reaction was, okay, does that mean Alama Uluwave's made the roster? Because you need a backup center, and you kind of got rid of the only guy who was somewhat recognized as a center, although Feeney's probably best at a guard. And then when you find out that Alama Uluwave is being cut, or sorry, being released, it's like, yeah, I need you to talk me through your thinking here. Like, I don't quite understand it. So the numbers of the position groups took me by surprise and stood out to me. But then also there's caveats and little wrinkles of what the Dolphins like to do in certain formations and the versatility of some of the players, which kind of explains it, if that makes sense.
All right. So Dan Feeney was brought over from the Jets, and he came with Mike White, window type Mike, and he was supposed. It was believed that he was going to be backup center, maybe backup guard. And there's a lot of undrafted players that came in. Aubrey Miller was released. Alama Uluwave, Chris Brooks. We thought, there's some boys who we think can make this team. So when Dan Feeney came, for those who don't know, like Kadeem just said, he got traded. So I'm gonna be real with you, and if I can get 20 seconds of your time, Kadeem. A lot of us played high school sports or I don't know, optimist sports or some type of sport. You know what I'm saying? Intramural sports, something. And I'll never forget this. I was in high school and I went out for the football team. Tried out for the football team. I was nice in middle school, nice and optimist. Best team ever in Miramar. All my friends are playing football in Miramar. Let's go. We about to be live out here in Miramar. And, we went out. There was a gang of people out there on the football team. And it's time for cuts. So they go to the locker room at 2:00, and you're going to have the varsity team, and you're going to have the JV team, junior varsity for those who are unfamiliar. So the first thing I do, I'm in the 9th grade. Let me look at his varsity roster.
Oh, Charlie. You're going to learn today.
All right. So let me look at this varsity roster. I should see my name on there. And I didn't see my name on there. So I'm like, dang, I thought I was good enough to make varsity. Let me look at the JV roster. See all my friends on there. A lot of my friends on there. And I didn't see my name, Kadeem. So like, nah. And people going to the list and they going back and I stepped to the side. All right, let me look back at this varsity roster again. And my name wasn't there.
Charlie wrong. Like, it's like they spelled Charlie wrong. It's all good.
Let me look at the varsity roster again, and I wasn't on it. Then I was like, let me look back at the JV roster. And then my friends was behind me. They, whatever. And then I wasn't really celebrating. They're like, no. Like, yo, you ain't make it. Like, I kind of like deflated the balloon, like took all the air out the balloon. They're like, yo, my dog didn't make it. I like, that's crazy. I ain't make it. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, that was the beginning of the spiral of high school for me. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was the beginning of a lot of bad things in high school for me. But I overcame it. So yesterday, Kadeem, we have a group chat, me, you, and a couple other Dolphin people, and you were sending in the cuts yesterday. And it reminded me of that, bro. I'm like, yo, Kadeem sending tweets of people who's getting cut from the Dolphins. And I'm like, yo, please don't let me see nobody that I hope makes the team. So every tweet Kadeem sent, I'm like, we made it. We're good. You know what I'm saying? We made it. We're good. And as the day went, I'm like, yeah, we're good. We're solid. You know, my dog's going to make the team. Turns out Uluave got cut. Myles Gaskin got cut. Now, Mike McDaniel just had a conference about 40 minutes ago. and a beat writer asked, I think, you know, the obvious question is, who's the backup center? You know what I'm saying? Like that is a legit question. Because I genuinely believed Alama was like, I thought Alama, I'm like, yo, dude is nice. He over here pulling, springing blocks. Like, yo, I like what we have. I think we struck gold in finding a backup center. That's I'm already giving Chris Greer his credit. You know what Coach McDaniel said?
Enlighten us.
He said, well, for those of us who think OTAs are pointless, someone showed up in OTAs and now we have a backup center because of OTAs. So OTAs are good for something. And he said Liam Eichenberg and Lester Cotton are going to be the backup center. And listen, I ain't gonna lie to you, this is the first time I disagree with Coach McDaniel. Like I disagree with some play calls sometimes and the way he doesn't get the play in on time. But this is the first time, like, I'm like, bro, you tripping, bro. You not gonna you don't want me to buy that. You not selling that to me. Want to know why, Kadeem? Liam Eichenberg was so good in OTAs at center, he ain't getting not a snap. You know what I'm saying? Like in preseason, yeah, is injured, all the other good stuff. Like Lester Cotton, like you not gonna line him up against somebody in preseason to see if he can take a snap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like what it's going. I don't like where we're going with this, Kadeem. So I'm not buying what coach is selling when it comes to center, at least. And I'll give you the floor from there.
Yeah, I think the one thing I kind of want to get, and this is purely my opinion, so feel free to disagree, but you kind of started it earlier when you said, you know, cut day isn't fun for anyone. And there's a lot of, you know, young men, older men who today just found out that they basically lost their job, because that's what it is. Obviously, for us, it's a sport, we're fans, you know, all the great stuff. But men today found out they lost their job, and that scramble to try and find a new job is brutal when there's not thousands out there and you can't go to another country and all that kind of stuff, and you can't just, you know, okay, well, I'm going to pivot in my career. You know, it's quite difficult. So, you know, I go on social media and I see people essentially taking delight in people being released when, because, you know, they don't think they're that good. And it's okay to not have, you know, it's okay to think a certain player doesn't deserve to be on a Dolphin. That's one thing. But take the light in someone's release is a bit where I kind of draw the line. You mentioned, you know, this isn't I guess I can't remember what you said exactly about Myles Gaskin, but I just want to say, you know, off the bat, the first friend of the podcast, I genuinely hope that he, you know, lands somewhere soon. And same to, you know, Alama Uluwave, I hope that he makes it to the practice squad. Because like you said, I'm not exactly buying the whole, we've got a backup centre in Lester Cotton and Liam Eichenberg. I believe when Connor Williams was holding out at the start of camp, one that the mandatory or mini, whatever it was, Liam Eichenberg did play centre. And I guess he's kind of shown he can snap the ball, which is something that, like, we probably should talk about Connor Williams at some point and how these snaps are getting worse. Like that's a worry. Like you can't not pretend that that's all rosy there and stuff like that. However, yeah, it's always interesting. It's always an interesting day, and like you, kind of as the cuts are coming in, and you're not seeing certain names, it's like, oh, boom, perfect. Llama's gonna make it, all that kind of stuff. And when they don't, it's like, oh wow, you just kind of have to hope that they make it back in the practice squad. But there was also a few cuts or releases, whatever word people prefer, which I don't think many of us like generally saw come in. And I think that's fair to say about Robbie Chosen.
That's it.
Yeah, Robbie Chosen, yeah. Did you see that release come in? Or yeah.
So remember, we knew someone had to go. Like, this is not the team that we're going to keep 5 or 6 tight ends. That came and went one year. Last year, we only kept 3 running backs, I think. I think we only kept 3 running backs. I think we only kept 3 running backs last year. And it was Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds, and Myles Gaskin. Then Chase Edmonds got traded. Wilson Jr. came in. Gaskin got hurt. Ahmed came in. It was still three running backs.
Plus Alec Ingold, he kind of
Right. I'm kind of like not including Alec Ingold sometimes, and then I am sometimes. So to not go to running back yet, because we want to touch on a lot of positions on this episode. I thought Braxton Berrios wasn't going to make the team. I thought he was going to be the one that didn't make it. I knew someone had to go. And I think a lot of people thought Cedric Wilson Jr. would get traded. Turns out Cedric Wilson Jr. gets his contract reworked, and now he's making a base salary of $2 million, $3 million signing bonus. It's $5 million guaranteed, and the contract will void after the season. So now this is officially Cedric Wilson Jr.'s last year under contract. Before we had an opt-out clause. So it's a little all right, cool. Now, apparently we couldn't find a trade partner for Cedric Wilson. So that's why we're keeping him, rework this contract so we can let him go after this season. So we keep Cedric Wilson. So that means someone else has to go. I thought that someone else would be Braxton Berrios because we have Devon Achane. Achane could be play special teams. That's what Braxton Berrios is going to be doing. But Eric Ezukama makes the 53-man roster. So you have 6 receivers that you kind of like. Like, yeah, I kind of like this. You know what I'm saying? Worst case scenario, you have depth there, and Mike McDaniel can get jiggy with a lot of these pieces. Worst case scenario. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind the wide receiver room. I was not surprised because I thought I thought it would have to be Braxton Berrios, Robbie Chosen, or Cedric Wilson getting moved. This Cedric Wilson getting traded thing has been on the table for a while. It never happened. So it was not a shock to me. But the shock is that we're going to keep all 6 of them, like on the active roster. So that tells me they like Eric Ezukama and don't want to put him back on the practice squad again.
So a few comments to go through. Kaysel asked if I'm cold. So there's a code over there where you at, or are you shivering because of the final 53? I didn't think I was shivering. I'm not cold. I just wanted to chuck on the Dolphins jumper because I've got a plain white t-shirt on, and then I always wear a hat. Like, unless I've got a fresh trim, I don't have that right now. Shout out to Giovanni Folk. I believe it's the first time commenting, so welcome to GTD. Appreciate you. He says, I think Chosen was cut on purpose to re-sign. He is a veteran and does not need to go through the waiver wire, which is a valid point to make. And then Tarnyman T says, and again, I believe it's the first time commenter, so shout out. Says Chosen really got done wrong unless they bring him back, which kind of follows on from what Giovanni says. And then, yeah, I kind of what what Robert's talking about here. He says, but abysmal playing depth in some positions and shallow kiddie pool depth in others. And that's kind of like we kind of touched upon having no backup center. And I guess having 6 wide receivers, like, could you not have moved one? And I think a lot of it, we haven't really touched upon the running back room yet, but
Yeah,
there
we're
was
about to right now.
Very quickly. Tiedemann says, no way, Easy E, Craycraft, and Cedric Wilson are all better than Chosen. Personally, before I hand over to Charlie, I think it's one of those situations where maybe as a pure receiver, Chosen might be the best one there. But the one thing we've learned on the Mike McDaniel was that being the best receiver doesn't really mean much if you can't run block at the very least or do other things, make yourself useful.
It's what can you do, right? Because Robbie Chosen probably is the best receiver out of all. I don't know. Cedric Wilson kind of nice. We give Cedric Wilson a bad rap, but Cedric Wilson is nice. Robbie Chosen is a different receiver than Cedric Wilson. Robbie Chosen are more of a deep threat than Cedric Wilson is, but Craycraft is gonna block. None of those other boys are. Ezekama's still young. He still got 2 years under contract where we pay him pennies. And Berrios is a slot receiver, and that's it, exclusively in the slot. So it's what do you want? What are you doing with these pieces? So yeah, all right. Let's touch on this for a second. Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr., Devon Achane, Savon Ahmed, and Chris Brooks are all on the 53-man roster. And if you line up today, all of them are not getting touches. Ain't no way. All of them are getting touches in the game. Pending Devon Achane was active, like, and not hurt, right? All these boys aren't getting touches. There's just no way. Excuse me. So I'm just gonna start off and say something is still afoot, Kadeem. And we might as well bring up the fact that Jonathan Taylor did not get traded today. Okay, so that was also in the atmosphere. There was a deadline that was put in place by the Colts. It probably I don't know if they put him on the PUP list or not, but he's on the physically unable to perform list. So that means he's going to be out for a minimum of 4 weeks. So he's not going to be a Dolphin. Like, and if he is, he's not going to play until week 5, right? So I don't know. If you just follow a few of the reports, it sounds like there's smoke this fire, Kadeem. Sound like there's something on the table. We're gonna see who blinks first in this game of chicken, and no one blinked. And the coach said, okay, then we're gonna put him on the PUP list until you decide you want to raise your price, Miami or Chicago or Philadelphia. And here we are with 5 running backs, 6 running backs if you include Alec Ingold. What's going on, Kadeem?
Very, very quickly. Giovanni Folk says, shocked that Brooker made it. I assume he means Chris Brooks. Casual Dog fan says, Chosen problem is he's blocking in the run game. They'll probably bring him back. Giovanni adds, Chosen is an outside wide receiver only. In DB says, fins up. There was a final preseason game. The Dolphins lost to the Jaguars. I don't think there's much more to add outside of that. And Chris Brooks got 2 touchdowns. So, like, Chris Brooks probably with that game cemented himself on the 53-man roster.
If you ask Charlie Touche, he made it a long time ago. But go ahead.
Yeah. Of the 5 running backs, 6 including Alec Ingold, A-Chain probably starts off hurt. Not seriously hurt, but might not play week 1, week 2. The Dolphins don't really play a lot of or haven't played their rookies in recent seasons. Like, they tend to kind of sit them, bed them in slowly, 2 seconds. So having essentially Savon Ahmed, Raheem Mostert, and Jeff Wilson with kind of like Chris Brooks peppered in if necessary, same with Devon Achane, That's kind of the plan I can see them going with for the first few weeks. Not to mention, even though Miles Gaskin did get released, we said weeks ago that both him and Savon Ahmed aren't giving up their places easily. Like, keep thinking that these guys are the easy people to cut, and you haven't paid attention to what they've been like in Miami so far. So yeah, Jonathan Taylor doesn't get traded. Apparently, no one came close to the Colts' valuation of him, which is funny because they're in this issue because they don't want to pay him because they don't think the value's there. So, like, you guys really don't understand the word value. But if you want to cut off your nose to spite your face, it completely is what it is. I do need to check out where that phrase comes from, by the way. So, yeah, to all the sources that were out there, all the people saying that it's definitely going to get done, definitely going to get done, it sounds like it was never really close. However, that's not through a lack of trying. There have been multiple reports from beat writers who have said that Chris Greer made multiple offers to try and get this trade done, and the coach basically said no. So to everyone who says, well, if Chris Greer doesn't get this trade done, then he needs to be fired, do you want the man to give up basically every single draft pick and completely ruin this roster, or sorry, this franchise over the next 2 years to get one running back? Like, there has to be some kind of balance. The Dolphins keeping 5 running backs, potentially bringing back Miles Gaskin, and if anything, keeping 6 wide receivers and potentially bringing back Robbie Chosen means that maybe they do try and find the trade in the next few weeks, because again, Tuesday's deadline was a soft deadline. It doesn't mean he's staying for definite, and there's still reports out there saying that this relationship between Coates and the Taylor is done. It's not getting resolved. Apparently, he's healthy enough to play. The Colts have put him on a pup list, which means he can't play for the first 4 weeks. So it's not even like they're going to use him to kind of like increase his value. That value is decreasing every single week you sit him. And when he comes back and he's like, listen, I'm still leaving. What do you think you're doing here? Then what? It's clearly not a situation which is going to go away anytime soon. But the Dolphins are once again putting it out there that they like their running back room. They're happy with what they got. And I think both things can be true. I think on the one hand, they can be happy with what they've got in Raheem Mostert, Chris Brooks, Savon Ahmed, Jeff Wilson Jr., Devon A-Chain, but also know that, as we always say, don't let good players stop you from getting great players. And if the opportunity to get Jonathan Taylor is there, then you have to take it.
Bro, the Dolphins are going to figure out something within the first 8 weeks of the season. Who's going to tote the rock for us? Like, oh, most of you don't you want to tiptoe? We got plenty ammunition. Someone wants to start for this team, and we're going to figure out who wants to start for this team. Listen, I still think there's a trade to be had. I think they kept all of these running backs because they know that there's a chance they're going to lose a couple of these running backs in a trade. Probably 2 of them. Could be A-Chain and Mostert. Could be Chris Brooks and Jeff Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's why they held on to so many running backs, because they know that it's possible to trade some of these running backs within the next 6 weeks, or 7 weeks because of the trade deadline, right? But man, bro, it looks odd, bro. Like, you're not gonna give all of these running backs touches. Now you're gonna see Chris Brooks in special teams. He's gonna run down and make some tackles. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna really see that from Savon Ahmed. You wouldn't really see that from friend of the podcast, Miles Gaskin, to where they're running down on kickoff just to go make tackles on special teams. You're not gonna see that, but you see Chris Brooks do it. So I'm curious to see what this running back room looks like moving forward. It's very odd and awkward to me. I still think we need backup quarterbacks, though. I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, that's crazy. So let's look at this something else, Kadeem. This is where I feel like, do we really need all these people? You know what I'm saying? Like, do we really need 10 DBs or corners? Now I know I was on the record, like, you can never have enough. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about, like, Eli Apple, Justin Bethel, Keon Crossan, Xavier Howard, Kelvin Joseph just came over from we might as well bring that up now. Noah Igbenogany, first round pick, 2020, got traded to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys reached out to the Dolphins to acquire Noah Igbenogany, and Chris Greer said, "You don't have to tell me twice." Kader Kohu, Nick Needham, Perry Nickerson, Jalen Ramsey, Cam Smith. I usually you're used to hearing like one or two special teamers. I just heard like 4 special teamers. You know what I'm saying? Keon Cross is the special teamer. Justin Bethel is the special teamer. Eli Apple's just taking up space, bro. Like, we don't need Eli Apple right now.
I think it's more a case of Jalen Ramsey is going to go on the pup list. Nick Needham's coming off an injury, and Cam Smith again is a rookie. So it's like that's 3 guys who, and again, for my pound, Cam Smith should probably start week 1 opposite Xavier Howard if healthy. That's me personally.
So you telling me we're gonna start Eli Apple?
I think we're gonna start Eli Apple. I'm not gonna lie,
bro. We start Eli Apple and got rid of our backup center. I don't know what to tell. I'm a second guess everything I know about football, bro.
I think we start Eli Apple, opposite Xavier Howard, and then you got a few special teamers in there, and you got a few guys who, once healthy, should basically move up the depth chart, move others down. That's just my opinion. I would go with Cam Smith over Eli Apple. I think most people would. But yeah, I think the number of DBs right now is more to do with injuries as opposed to
cornerbacks.
So cornerbacks. The number of cornerbacks is more to do with injuries and making sure they have enough as opposed to having a lot of talent. Also, shout out to a few more comments before I hand it back to you. We kind of spoke about Chris Greer, people wanting Chris Greer fired. Jason Keck says he needs to hire someone who knows how to draft offensive linemen. I will hit back on that very quickly because Jason said he's straight trash at it. Robert says Jason's spot on, but if Greer picks offensive lineman of touches 24, he'll be fine.
Touche's 24.
Touche's 24. Apologies.
Yeah,
apologies,
my dog. I like it.
Apologies.
I like it.
And this is the first time we have a Bills fan in the chat. Shout out to JC Bills Mafia. Says, LOL, don't worry, you got Eichenberg, Tree Arms at center 2, T-Rex. Hey,
shout out to the Bills fans.
100%.
Jumping into the Dolphins podcast. Appreciate you.
Chris Greer being unable to draft offensive linemen. Robert Hunt's done better than okay. We personally still can't understand why Solomon Kinley is no longer part of the roster, but is what it is. And then I guess the other misses outside of, or the jury's still out on Liam Eichenberg, though it's not trending well. Obviously, friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson's had himself a pretty nice preseason. Hopefully, he takes that step this year once, now he's fully healthy. Ryan Hayes, who we took in the 7th round, being cut. They might bring him back to the practice squad. Hopefully, they do the same with Alama Uluwave. The Dolphins need to build a better offensive line. I don't think anyone is disputing that, but I think Chris Greer's done relatively okay. There's still picks which we can sit here and say he should have made.
I think it's safe to say he could do better.
Yeah, 100%.
In the department. And shout out to JC Bills Mafia. He said every team in the division needs O-line depth, which is accurate. Not only just the division, the whole league is like, ain't too many teams that really have like an outstanding offensive line. Everybody so that's why it's kind of difficult to trade for an O-lineman right now. Oh, you know what? Let's go trade for one. Like everybody we ain't got it to trade. You know what I'm saying?
It's Philly. You go to Philly.
and Green Bay, nice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but there's not many teams that are just, we need to go pick off their roster. And again, Chris Greer, dope at contracts, incredible at undrafted talent. In my opinion, he drafts well, he trades well. He just doesn't draft linemen well. And if someone wants to get on that, okay, I'm cool. But at the same time, no one's perfect.
I also want to add as well. I don't think it's just a Chris Gray issue. I think it's a Miami Dolphins issue for the longest time.
For sure.
like it's not like the Dolphins have drafted stellar offensive linemen and then it's gone downhill since Chris Gray pretty much took over. We talk about that unicorn offensive line and just like that unicorn offensive line barely played and is what it is. Because like Giovanni says, who can draft offensive linemen? I think it's connected to the college game, make the scouts' lives hard.
Hey, you know what? No, we need to bring Rob back in here. Touche's 24 be having some linemen on it, bro. And I be hitting on some 6-round picks. Like maybe they need to get me in the building and I could like, yo, this is the lineman we need to check out. You know what I'm saying? Because they just let one walk out the door too. I don't understand that part. But yo, I be hitting on some linemen on my Touche's 24, bro.
I was gonna get to this question once we got through a few more of the comments. Kenneth Rankin said cold weather team always had the best O-line. If we're done with cornerbacks, there's a question here from JC Bulls Mafia, which could tie us nicely to a different position group, if that's okay.
We were actually about to go into this, but go ahead.
So JC Bulls Mafia says, thoughts on Christian Wilkins wanting to reset the market without the sacks? I honestly don't see much of a difference between him and Sealer production-wise. So yeah, again, in case we didn't cover it, I'm pretty sure we did, but Zach Sealer signed a new contract in Miami, keeping him here for the next few years. Christian Wilkins spoke to media on Tuesday, basically said he's back in practice. He was never going to miss, get any games. Basically, he's here to play for the team. He wants to stay here. And then the reports after that, the Dolphins did receive trade offers for Christian Wilkins, but never entertained any, and Christian Wilkins does not want to leave. However, there were also reports that Christian Wilkins got offered, I think it's fair to say, the bag. It would have put him up there.
The reports, and I hate bringing up reports because then if it didn't happen, it's like, dang, now everybody's mad at Christian Wilkins for trying to reset the market that he probably didn't even try to reset. But yeah, there were reports that he tried to get exactly what Quinnen Williams and Jeffrey Simmons got, which is $24 million a year or $22 million a year. I'm sorry, one of the two.
Basically, yeah, the reported figures was that Dolphins offered him around
93 million total.
Yeah, and a deal wasn't struck, but it seems there's not any resentment. He's not going to hold out. He's like, yo, I think his exact words were, he's ready to have the best season of his career, and we'll see what happens with that. What do you make of the Christian Wilkins situation and I guess the defensive line group, because they released veteran Deshaun Hand, but Brandon Pilley, undrafted free agent, made the roster, something which I guess we kind of saw coming given how much they gave him as a contract, but also he's played during the preseason as well.
All right, so you just said some of this, and I'll just read the Adam Schefter tweet. There were teams that reached out to the Dolphins and tried to trade for Christian Wilkins, but Miami was not interested in trading him, and he was not interested in playing anywhere else, per source. Before we get into that, Adam Schefter also tweeted that friend of the podcast, Myles Gaskin, was released. Now, if you know Adam Schefter, he don't just tweet like this. The 90th person on the roster was released. The 88th person on the roster was released. So for him to mention Myles Gaskin, it's almost like Myles Gaskin. And I know we're going off topic here, but Myles Gaskin, for those who don't think like he was important in quotations to the Dolphins because of the lack of production on the field, for a coach to say he is the epitome of a Miami Dolphin and a GM to say he is everything the Dolphins want in a player, and then for a new head coach to come in and say, yo, we need people like Myles Gaskin around. And then for Charlie Touche to say, hey, don't be surprised if you see Myles Gaskin on the sideline with a headset one day to be a coach. Yo, bro, like, I need y'all to understand the importance of the locker room when you put the respect on Myles Gaskin name. So talk about Christian Wilkins. I don't like it, bro. Like, shout out to Kai Kid 305. You and Kai Kid said y'all wanted to keep Christian Wilkins. I am not in line with that. I like Christian Wilkins. We need D-line, you know what I'm saying? But I just feel like we can get close and similar to production with Zach Sealer. And we signed Zach Sealer. So therefore, for me, we appreciate your services, Christian Wilkins. But at the same time, we have a franchise to uphold and we have to think about the future. And for my dollar, Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer, where's that gotten us so far? The 15th ranked defense in the league, the 20th ranked defense in the league. When was the last time the Dolphins had a top 10 defense outside of that 1 year with Brian Flores? I don't know if you can even name it. So we keep playing all of these defensive players, bro. We paid like $68 million of cap to the defensive side of the ball, and we're still in the 20s in defense, overall defense, and 15. Like, I'm not paying all this money to not be a top 10 defense. So, and then the run game doesn't even look that good, bro. The defensive run game doesn't even look that good. Teams be running on us. Like, I'm not here for that. So I just feel like we could put that money somewhere else and still have the 20th ranked defense in the league. That's just economics to Charlie Touche.
So some of the comments to go through before I return or respond. Sorry. JC Bulls Mafia says, I love Big Ten offensive line. Giovanni Folk says, I am not mad, and I assume that's in reference to Christian Wilkins not being paid what the Dolphins offered him. If I'm wrong, apologies. JC Bulls Mafia adds, it's his agent, not him. Your agent's job is to get you the bag. Kenneth Rankin adds that some people said 28 plus mil for what Christian Wilkins wants, allegedly. Jason doesn't think he's worth more than 20. JC Bulls Mafia said, I'd give him 17 to 18 with incentives. The next comment, Miles will probably be picked up by the Patriots. Could you imagine Miles Gaskin as a bit like, don't put it out there. Like, why would we do? Like, Miles, don't do it. Like, I want you to go earn a starting job. Just go to the NFC. Charlie's on mute if he's talking to us at the moment.
The Patriots picked up Malcolm Perry to be the snitch. Remember Malcolm Perry snitched on us?
Yeah, but wasn't that before a week one game?
Yeah. And they picked up Mike Gesicki. And
Devontae Parker.
And Devon Gotcha. Like, bro, this would be on par for the Patriots to pick up Myles Gaskin because they need running back help too. And I would not be surprised. And then that's when you'll get the farewell, good luck, best wishes. You know what I'm saying? That's when you'll get that from Charlie Touche. But right now, I still think Myles Gaskin is going to be a Dolphin in 2 days.
Hopefully. Kenneth Rankin says some say they need one another. And I can understand that thought process behind both Zach Sealer and Christian Wilkins, that they complement each other really well. When one is missing, you really notice that. Jason Keck says he loves that Christian Wilkins only wants to be a Dolphin. JC Bills Mafia says, I'd never overpay anyone on defense unless it's an edge or a corner. Kenneth Rankin says, name a time Miami was top 10 without Tyreek. And then Robert Ashton just said Patriots equals Miami B team. And I think that's fair. Listen, Christian Wilkins. Had the discussion with Tom Valentine coming off PFF. Shout out Tom. Christian Wilkins, in my opinion, is one of the best run-stuffing defensive tackles in the NFL. Definitely up there. Like, does an excellent job of, like, to me, that's where he excels. When it comes to touching the opposing quarterback, the numbers need to improve, and I think even he would admit that. Or it's not, at the very least, not where where it would be. So, with that being said, if the reported offer of what the Dolphins offered Christian Wilkins, to me, I think that's a more than generous offer for someone who has played his entire NFL career as a Dolphin. I think it says to Wilkins and the rest of the locker room, if you come to Miami, as a rookie, and you continue to improve, and you become a captain and all that good stuff, we will reward you. I don't blame him or his agent for wanting to get the bag. You get what you can because you never know when your career ends, or you never know when the next big contract is going to come from. I still hope and believe that the Dolphins are able to work something out, but I think it makes a lot of sense that once you get to a point where the Dolphins were like, okay, we are going to get something done with Christian Wilkins anytime soon. Let's, you know, let's secure Zach Sealer. So at the very least, we have someone on the contract next year. And we will address Christian Wilkins most probably at the end of the season. Because it seems like, it's now football season, week 1, week 2, week 3. Let's focus on playing games. Very quickly before I throw it back to you. Rob says, chat to Rob SAFC. You see our punter from last season was cut at the Jets. They have no punter at the moment. If the Jets want to mess around and have no punter, then boy, they best doing for a lot of losses this season, but I'm sure they'll pick someone up. And then I guess before we get to 2 questions, JC Bills Mafia says, Jason Keck, the player I'd like, even as a quarterback 2 for the Bills, is a Colt McCoy who just got cut. He can give you 2 to 3 wins if for some reason there's an injury. So very quickly, we'll start with Jason's question.
Hold on. Let's save those 2 questions for bonus time because we got a giveaway. For anyone who missed one of the last episodes, the episode or the one before last, I can't remember. Oh, we had an emergency episode. But the last episode, before the emergency episode, my girlfriend came on the podcast and she got everybody a giveaway. So if you commented on this episode or you're part of our Patreon, you're going to be added in the giveaway. Now, we're about to get it a bonus time, and we're going to have the giveaway on the other side of bonus time. So if you want to be a part of the giveaway, go ahead and leave a comment now, and we'll add you in this giveaway. And we'll also answer a couple of the questions that we had in the comments. But yeah, listen, you got anything before we go to bonus time, Kadeem?
Just I guess the boring admin, but it's really, really important. Share, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like the video.
Really
it shows YouTube that you like the content. They will push content to other people, and the channel will continue to grow. Same with comments, same with subscription button, all that kind of stuff. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We will try to respond to as many comments across all of those platforms where possible. And as mentioned, we have a Patreon up and running with 3 tiers. Go over to patreon.com/GoTime Dolphins to see what those tiers give you. And any support is genuinely greatly appreciated. You don't understand what it means to the both of us. So to our patrons that we have so far, thank you very much. And to anyone who comes over in the next day, week, month, wherever it is, again, we appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts.
I'm sure Kadeem's about to get the wheel of death moving. But listen, come on over to bonus time. Be a part of this giveaway. We're gonna answer some more questions. We appreciate everybody rocking with us. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
I come back and I see an empty chair. It's a pretty dope chair. It's a Miami Dolphins chair, Miami Dolphins gaming chair, but I thought I'd come back to Charlie talking. I'd be able to enter the names into the wheel of fortune. Can't do that because Charlie is not here at the moment. Once again, to everyone who joined us on the live so far for commenting, genuinely appreciate it. as you can see, we interact with as many people as possible. Thankful to all the questions. Something you need to talk about, kind of take the show down, you know, different paths and stuff like that. And plus, you know, as you can see on the screen, well, it's not on the screen, but it's for the fans and by the fans. So we want you guys to get involved, be it on the live shows, be it just on the YouTube comments, be it on Twitter, be it on whatever it is. It genuinely gives us fresh ideas, which allow us to cater the show towards our fans. As I continue to wait for Charlie, again in the comments, let us know your thoughts on any surprise cuts. If you think the Dolphins will pick up anyone in free agency, are there any offensive linemen you guys like that are available? Any tight ends? We didn't touch upon the tight ends. I think the Dolphins have like what 2 or 3 on the roster. Here comes Charlie. I bet Charlie says, I didn't realize how long the outro was. I thought we'd be back in time.
No, I didn't think I was going to be back in time. I hope that I was, though.
Fair play. While you entertain everyone, I'm going to start adding names to the wheel of names for the giveaway. So bear with me 2 secs.
So yeah, there was a question that said, who do you cut to bring Gaskin back in 2 days? I don't think you cut anybody. I think he comes back on the practice squad. And I think the only reason we have so many running backs on the active roster, like last year, they were alternating. Ahmed was on the practice squad. Gaskin was active. Gaskin got hurt. Ahmed was active on the 53-man roster. So what I think happens is, and here's the thing. I don't want anyone to think, oh, Charlie's delusional. Gaskin isn't as good as the running backs we have. I'm gonna be real with you. Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Chris Brooks, Devon Achane, all solid, all better than Myles Gaskin when it comes to production, for sure. But at the same time, like all you heard for the past 4 years is, hey, Myles Gaskin is the dude in the locker room. Myles Gaskin is the captain of the team, unofficial captain of the team. Myles Gaskin voice is always heard in the locker room. So you gotta believe it means something, right? And that's this. There's a side of me that believes like the front office is like, hey, we kind of just we need you on like behind the scenes, bro. Like if we could bring you back on the practice squad and you an honorary coach of some sorts, then that's what it is. So, but how long does that get you, right? So I feel everybody, but at the same time, when you are in essence, and I know this is a bad comparison, the Edgerrin James of the team, Edgerrin James was actually productive, but when you're the Edgerrin James of the team where the team was terrible, like we were in oblivion, like the worst team in the league, and all of a sudden you go to the best team in the league, you want that person who was there. You want those people, those players who were there through it all. You kind of still want them to hang around so you could reward them. So unfortunately, he's not on the team right now, but that's why I think they bring him back on the practice squad just as a like, yo, we kind of want you to be a part of this with us, although we're not getting production from him. But that's what I got there.
A few comments. Another question is, do you guys think they should grab Zappe or Bailey Zapp, the Patriots cut? I think the Patriots only have one callback right now, which is again, I'm sure to pick people up, but a bit odd. So the Dolphins obviously have 3 quarterbacks in Tua Tagovailoa, and then Skylar Thompson and Mike White. Do you think they should go after Bailey Zappe or Zappe, Charlie Touche?
The Dolphins need a reliable backup, bro. I don't think Mike White is reliable. I don't think Skylar Thompson is reliable. I don't think Bailey Zappe is reliable. I don't want Bailey Zappe. I want a legitimate backup that's going to be on the team for 3 or 4 years, or have people calling the trade for him. Like, yo, we need y'all backup. That's the backup I want. So if you gotta draft that guy, you gotta draft that guy. I'm okay, but I'm not drafting him in the first 3 rounds. I'm not drafting him in the first 2 days, nothing like that. But you gotta have a reasonable backup, and we don't have a serviceable backup. We don't. Um, everyone could say, "Oh, we went pillar to post with Buffalo in the playoffs." That's because Josh Allen is glitch mode when it comes down to it. You know what I'm saying? Josh Allen, I cannot wait to everyone sees Josh Allen for what he really is. He's an awesome talent, awesome quarterback, can take over the game. I'm not saying none of that. But the man fumbles and throws picks at the worst time, bro, and no one calls him out on it. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait when everybody starts to see the real. And that window is closing in Buffalo. Where's our Buffalo fan? JC, you know what I'm saying? JC, bro. Hey, dog, invoke the name Carson Wentz. And it's so funny because I thought of Carson Wentz last week. I'm like, bro, give me Carson Wentz over the quarterbacks that we have right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm at, bro.
No, it's fair.
Oh,
Yeah,
I feel like I know JC. He sounded like me in the comments, bro.
Yeah, so JC said Josh Allen gets away with a lot because of his legs and size. I also think it's that jump he made where he went from like being a spotty quarterback to like, yo, this guy is like Josh Allen over one off season went from looking like a complete different player, and I think because of that, it's and you have to give him credit for making that jump, even if there's been a bit of a stagnation in key moments. A few more things before we get to the giveaway and anything else. Rob says, walked past a Volkswagen Golf GTD yesterday, and the GTD made me think of Go Time Dolphins.
Gotta love
Listen, we're everywhere. Jason said, give these guys a like that deserve it. Thank you very much.
Gotta love that.
While Robert was away, so while Charlie was away, Robert said, Charlie, he's camouflage on. Yeah, like I came back, I was like, yo, like there's no one there, so thanks for that. Yeah, Robert says London Bills pub Dolphin takeover in October. There's if you're in the UK, I guess mostly London because that's where these things will happen. We've got 2 meetup plans. One at the Hippodrome for the first home game of the season against the Denver Broncos. Be there, I'll be there. A few others will be there. It'll be a great evening. Hopefully, we get the dub. And then also for the Bills game, we're gonna maybe find a Bills pub or find a pub and take it over. It's a thing we're gonna try and do as much this season. Just try and get some Dolphin fans together, enjoy the game, watch the game. Just kind of grow the London/UK Dolphins fan group. So if you want to be a part of that, let us know. Let me know in the comments. I can add you to the WhatsApp group, all that good stuff. A few Mars Gaskin things. Kenneth Rankin said Gaskin runs way harder than Mostert. Jason Keck said no. Rob said on the field, I don't think Gaskin gives you anything the others don't. Tarniman T agreed with something Charlie said. I think that was about it might be the quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, it was about bringing him back on the practice squad because he's a voice of the locker room.
Cope. JC Bulls Mafia said Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Herbert are put over Allen as passers. JC, I can see your sub to the channel. If you haven't seen the quarterback rankings episodes we did a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months now, I guess, go back and watch that out. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the rankings, and if you get time as well in the comments, give us, I guess, your top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Last question.
Skylar Thompson, four interceptions and 41 pass attempts in the preseason.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty at all.
Every 10 passes is a pick.
That's not sustainable. K Salt says, and again, we'll get to the Miles Gaskin giveaway shortly.
Hold on. Miles Gaskin giveaway?
Sorry, my mind's all over the place. The GG giveaway, or that makes no sense. The G giveaway, the golfing giveaway.
Hey, what's up, bro? You all right, bro?
It's midnight. I no longer work like late nights. So my brain just shut down at 10:30. K Salt says, our 53 doesn't wow me at all. What do you think we should do to make improvements at this time? Charlie, what do you think?
I think we're straight, bro. I think we're solid. we have the depth at receiver. Like the thing you feared the most was what happens if you lose one of your receivers, and now we have depth there, and we have a play caller and Coach McDaniel who's going to take care of us. Like we know he's going to put Tua in the best situation to succeed, and that's all you can ask for. How many years did we say Tua needs targets? Tua needs weapons. You know what I'm saying? Weapons for Tua, and now a couple people could go down. We're still going to be taken care of. So that's all we need to do on the offensive side of the ball, man. Listen, I'm at the point now where if we stop playing defensive players like Christian Wilkins, if we didn't pay him and we focus on the offensive side of the ball more, yo, I'm down for a track meet every single game. First one to 50 wins. Like, that's it. First one to put up 30 points is the winner. And I'm all for it. So I'm not concerned about the Dolphins. I still got us going to the AFC Championship. I got us actually coming out the AFC. I believe the Dolphins are going to be AFC champions this year. We're going to the Super Bowl. And I know a lot of people, oh, these boys delusional. Like, nah, this is the first time where I thought, like, yo, we're finally doing it. So I'm not concerned at all. I would like to have better O-line depth. I think that's every single team in the NFL wants the better O-line. But we have to do it. We have to find a way to do it next year. Like, yo, we need better O-line. So I'm all right. Nothing. I'm not concerned about anything.
I think that might be why the Dolphins were reluctant to part ways with a first round pick or lots of premium picks, because the Dolphins are going to need to retool this offensive line, and it can't be with third, fourth, fifth, sixth round picks. Like, you need to go and draft and hit on a first round pick and potentially a second round pick.
Straight up.
If not offensive line, tight end as well. Like, we didn't talk about tight ends, but this. And
right. If we double dip on O-line next year, no one's going to be mad.
Not at all. If the Dolphins did what we did in our mock drafts, like where we just double dipping all over the place, then like, I know we say don't double dip the chip. We double dip the chip and then double dipped it again. Listen, yeah, I think for me, and it's something we said over and over again, as Isaiah Wynn is a nice pickup. He made the roster. He's probably a starting left guard. Move Connor Williams to left guard. Bring in a center who can genuinely start. And I think if your offensive lineman in week one is Teron Armstead left tackle, Connor Williams left guard, starting center, friend of the podcast, Robert Hunt at right guard, Austin Jackson right tackle, it's a lot better than what you got right now, in my opinion.
Next episode, I'm gonna be on the podcast saying I told you Alama Uluwabe was gonna make the practice squad. I told you he was gonna make this team in some capacity. So we're giving away a mesh Dolphins bag. A bag, so you can use it as a whatever kind of bag you want. It's like a book bag type of gym bag, and it's a mesh Dolphins bag. We're about to have this giveaway. My girlfriend came on the podcast, answered the question, put her on the spot. She didn't even know she was on the podcast. And I told her if she could name 7 Dolphin players, that we would have a giveaway. So this giveaway is courtesy of my girl. Shout out to my girl. I don't think she's listening, but shout out to her.
I will get the wheel up in a second.
While Kadeen gets the wheel up, shout out to punter from the Miami Hurricanes, Lou Headley, 30-year-old rookie. 30-year-old rookie. He's an Australian punter. He had his own tattoo shop in Indonesia before he became the punter for the Miami Hurricanes. And he's now the punter for the Saints. Rookie at 30 years old. Shout out to that boy. He was in the building.
So that means it's never too late, Charlie. If you chuck those pads on right now, you can be the starting center with the Miami Dolphins. That's all I'm saying.
I told you I had pads in here. Y'all thought I was playing? Like, yo, I still have my pads. Y'all better stop playing with me, man.
If you're watching and you don't see your name, if you're watching and you've commented on the video and you do not see your name, now's the time to tell me. Shout out to we just got a new name, Taliba TV. Shout out to Taliba TV. She asked where's the Jamaican flag. Next episode, I think I'll have my Jamaica shirt on. Charlie will have his Ajax Jamaica, like 3 little birds. Like, don't worry, Taliba TV. We've got you. We've got you. Shout out to Moya TV having dinner. So
3
grease,
little
chicken,
birds.
grease, everybody.
Fish by my doorstep.
And then as Charlie sings some Bob Marley, we got some
Singing
offensive
songs.
lineman comments.
If you don't see your name, let us know. Let us know if you don't see it. If you don't see your name.
But let me quickly add.
Singing. This is my message to you. Saying don't worry.
Jason Keck says Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's great draft and offensive lineman. IMAX says he can't see his name.
I seen it. I thought
I saw it as well.
It's right there. It's right there. It's in red. IMAX is in red.
Yeah, I got your name. It's there. Also, you'll notice. No, IMAX. Like it's good. Like I'm glad you mentioned it because you never know when you miss. And again, if you are signed up to our Patreon, you are automatically entered to the giveaway. So even if you miss a show and you're not in the live or we do a giveaway, you're all good. We've got you covered. So Charlie, when you're ready, and if no one else, if I haven't missed anyone else, then let's get this going. You ready?
Hold on. Yeah, we're ready.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
Let's see what we get.
Good luck, everyone.
Hey. I love giveaways, man. Giovanni. That's what's up. You hit us up, gotimedolphins@gmail.com. In the subject, put giveaway, and we will reach out to you, get your shipping address, and you have a giveaway coming to you. We appreciate everybody who rock with us, including Bills fans, including Jets fans, or paper plane fans that come in and chop it up with us. So we appreciate everybody that rock with us here at Go Time Dolphins, man. You got something before we go, Kadeem?
Essentially, just following up from what you just said, we appreciate everyone. Congratulations, Giovanni. Like I said, I think that's the first time he's commented on a live. So, hey, that's at the very least beginner's luck. So, hey, it is what it is. But no, again, the admin. If you haven't already, share, like, subscribe to the channel, follow us on all the social media platforms: X, Twitter, TikTok, Vine, Bebo, MySpace, everything. And then
if you said MySpace.
MySpace was a vibe. And if you're feeling generous, then go over and subscribe to the Patreon as well. But that's it for me. That is it. And I think that's it from Charlie. I've got another comment very, very quickly. That's very, very true. JC Bullsmapper would have rocked that Finn's bag. Yes. That would have been fun. Yes. That would have been fun. But we shall see you in the next one. Peace.